Hello again, Gills fans, and welcome back to another edition of Gills in the Blood TV with myself and Boz. Thursday's weekly roundup match preview. This week it is Fleetwood at home on Saturday, a team that we beat as recently as 3-4 weeks ago. So, and a really good win as well. But before we get into that, a little bit of transfer news to announce. As I'm sure you are all aware, unless you've been living in a cave for the last 2 weeks, that was Frank Musa, who has now signed on a deal until the end of the season. Steve Lovell has today described him as a good attacking option who can get around the pitch. So slightly different to the orthodox central midfield role that he played against Maidstone.
It's what we need, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And evidently he's been with us for 7 or 8 weeks.
Season, yeah.
So it's not like he's just only been there a week or so. So he should be fit, which is great news. Yeah, definitely a signing we need. I'm well pleased with it. It's a no-lose situation. If he doesn't perform, we say thanks but no thanks at the end of the season. But chances are he wants to try and get a deal, so he's going to bust his heart.
I think it makes sense for everyone concerned, don't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So
Lovell in the short term only has a contract to the end of the season, so obviously we're hoping that gets extended and it gives him a chance to make a decision on most.
Exactly, yeah. So it's almost a similar situation to Steve himself, but yeah, a very good addition. If we can get him anywhere near the form of maybe 3 seasons ago, then we've got a very good League One footballer.
Yeah, I spoke to my Charlton mate yesterday, and he said, other than one injury, which knocked him back quite a bit, he said up until then he was flying for them. Yeah,
I think someone put on Twitter the other day, and I had a look at it, of I think it was his 13-14 season at Coventry. He scored about 14 goals and some really good hits in there, to be fair as well. I know that's 4 years ago, but he's still only 28, so yeah, looks a really good addition. On top of that, Steve Lovell has confirmed today, you may have read online or in the newspaper, if you're slightly more old school like myself, still hopeful on Sean Clare. So for me, that's only good news as well. I don't think he got on last week in their league games, an unused substitute. Navid Nasseri and Reece Murphy, who both played in the Kent Cup game as well, are apparently playing a behind-doors friendly against Barnet Monday or Tuesday, and Steve Lovell then will make a decision. So that's probably best for them, and it's best for us as well, because if not, they've still got a few days to try and get sorted, and hopefully we've got irons in other fires and fingers in other pies, so to speak. But yeah, so that's more on them, decisions to be made. And Callum Riley apparently is a loan with a view to a permanent. So
yeah, it's not something we usually do. So I mean, I don't know his contract situation. He must still be under contract. Generally, we bring players in there out of contract in the summer. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I think he's got another year to run. And he talks in the Home of the Shouting Men column today. So yeah, let's have a little look at Callum Riley in more depth. By all accounts, really good debut last week.
Yeah, that sounds that way.
Seems to add what we want, a runner in midfield again. Likes to put his foot in. I think I've seen the highlights, I'm sure you have now, from the first goal I think come from him as well, didn't it? Pressing the 2 centre forwards pressed, and then he went and pinched it and gave it to Josh Parker, and it ended up with Lee Martin again, which was a very smart finish again from Lee Martin.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, he's really a bit of fun.
So that was great to see. But yeah, as you could see from the caption there, Steve Lovell describes Callum Riley says he gave us balance on the left side of midfield and it helped Jake as he moved to the right hand side. I thought he had a good game, he was excellent. So number one, he's had a good game himself. It's helped others because Jake Essenthaler can get on his more natural side, and he's had a good game as well. So
a lot of positive comments from Bury fans as well, saying he's one of their better players.
Yeah, he's featured about 25 times for them, hasn't he? So yeah, so he's fit, fully fit, like he says in the paper.
It's similar to Musa as well, like to the end of the season with view to a permanent, if he impresses.
Exactly, and hopefully if we can get a few quid to maybe keep him, it'd be excellent. And obviously if it don't work out, then he goes back up there and he tries to stay in their team.
Win-win situation.
We're in a decent position at the moment. But yeah, really promising debut, and long may that continue. Back page of Medway Messenger today. We've done nothing. Steve Lovell saying that despite the excellent run of form, they've not achieved anything yet. He's not even going to consider himself to have been a success until they get to 50 or 51 points, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to hear.
We don't want to be getting to this situation now and thinking it's done, because 2 defeats and suddenly you could be right back down there again. So conversely,
it's really close, isn't it now?
Yeah,
I think it's like 15, 16 points from
7 points to the bottom 4, aren't we? And 9 to the playoffs. Yeah, so it's 16 points from 6th to 21st. Yeah, so
it just takes one team to have a run, don't it?
what's the thing? Someone put on Twitter the other day the league table after this amount of games from 2 seasons ago when Barnsley went up, and they had less points than us. They had 26 points. So I'm not saying we're going to get in the playoffs, but if you can get anything over 101, it's still got to be worth a quid.
How nice it to be thinking positive.
Exactly, just looking the right way, just looking upwards instead of over our shoulder. It's great to see. But like I say, I think that's really good about Steve Lovell, saying that he knows that there's nothing done yet. Until we get to that 50 to 51 points, he said, nothing is done. Don't get me wrong, we've done well, but you can do well and still end up in trouble. I'm not looking beyond this season. I think that's in reference to the fact that there's been plenty of chat about extending his contract. For me, if we were going to do it right now, I'd give him another 12 months on top of what he's got. So he gets a full season, plus until the end of this campaign. It's,
Pennock had, what did Pennock have, 6 months, and then he got given the job full time?
Another year, wasn't it? So and he was... well, awful. There's no point trying to sugarcoat it or whatever. It was an awful spell, and it's something that I'm glad we're not having to see anymore. So, but yeah, next point in the paper though, after Steve Lovell, is this man coming up on your screen now. Double figures for the season now after scoring last week. Another header, loves a header. I think that's 7 out of his 10 headers.
Put his head where it out as well, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a very good finish. Yeah, because there was a couple of centre halves charging at him, and the keeper sort of had a look as well. So yeah, eyed him down to get 12. So fair play to him. And we know Dave, friend of the channel, regular contributor. Hope you're well, Dave. Hope the boiler's all right. He had Tom Eves to get down between 12 and 15, so they're well on the way. You'd be disappointed now if they didn't both get to 12 to 15.
It's a nice position to be in, isn't
it? It's really nice, because for all that, we said about, we lost Dackie's goals and we lost Josh Wright's goals from last season, and maybe Josh Wright's was a one-off, and Cody's goals and Jet before that, we spoke about all them players, but we've got 2 strikers in double figures and it ain't even the end of January. It's bloody marvellous. I can't remember the last time, would it have been the title-winning season that we got 2 strikers into double figures?
Yeah, but I don't even know we're in double figures this quick.
No, that's what I mean. So yeah, that's what I mean. Even till the end of the season, Burton and Kedwell both got into double figures by the end of the season. And then since then, I can't remember any. Kedwell regularly got to double figures, didn't he? Sort of 11, 12, 13. He never went sort of 18, 19, 20. But Cody got 12 last season. I don't think Jet got double figures in the league.
No, I don't think it was league goals.
Season before that, Cody missed out, didn't he? And it was Dackie got 14 or something, 14 or 15, but then we spread the goals around in terms of strikers. I think Rory got
that's what I think
Rory got 10.
Well. We're not, although those 2 are the standouts as in they're getting the most, but everyone's chipping in.
Well, sitting there looking at here, this is the paper. Lee Martin's up to 4-0, Mark Burns got 3, Connor Wilkinson and Luke O'Neill 3, so they're being spread around, which is great to see. So, and if that continues at the same rate for the rest of the season, then
and the fact we're not conceding as many goals, so sometimes one's going to be enough.
Yeah, Reece.
Whereas before we may have needed 3 to win a game.
Reece wrote a nice piece, I don't know if you've read it yet. Yesterday went online, was a really good piece about Steve Lovell, and said that the biggest thing for him is the fact that he's made us more potent in attack, but at the same time he's made us even better defensively. To get both working at the same time is really good, and a really good sign.
It helps having a consistent system as well. I know we chop and change in games, don't we, quite a bit.
Yeah.
But under Pennock you would see 1 week would be 5 at the back, then 3, then 4.
Yeah, it comes back to changing.
Then we'd be swapping players around,
and that was for desperation.
We seem to be keeping pretty consistent side and a consistent setup at the moment, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. That leads us on to our next bit, which quite nicely about Josh Park. Obviously, you've already seen the picture there, Gills fans. The quote with it was, "I don't think there is a better team in the league. There might be a team with better overall players than us, with a bigger budget, but there isn't a team that scares me or makes me think I don't want to play them this week." Again, it's great to see. He was ridiculed slightly the other week when he came out and said the playoffs are still the aim. Well, if we, I
don't know about aim, but it's nice to think that actually,
again, what we just said, it's better to be looking that way than thinking, hang about, how many more games have we got to win to be safe from relegation? It's the mindset, which is great to see. Fixtures in February. A quick question, because I've just noticed them. We've got 6 games in the league in February. Fleetwood at home, Wigan away, Peterborough at home, Northampton away, Walsall at home, Shrewsbury away. How many points do you think? I think you've got to put us down
a beat. Away games?
I'd put us down as a win against Fleetwood. Agree or disagree?
I think we'll beat Fleetwood.
Wigan lose. If we're being real.
I'll be honest, I think we may just sneak a draw out.
All right, we'll go draw.
I think there's a bit of...
Peterborough, draw.
Is that at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at home, draw.
Northampton away, I'd fancy us to get something. Win.
Yeah.
away. If you're backing us to get a point at Wigan, we've got to say we're backing us to win at Northampton. No disrespect to Northampton. I'd back us to beat Walsall at home.
Yeah.
Especially if that's the...
Shrewsbury's for one, I think, because they're a bit hit and miss, aren't they?
Should we put a defeat down? We don't want to get too
I think I can't be overly positive.
So worst case scenario, you can't be overly positive. He's got to get a point at Wigan. Right, so that would give us from 18 points, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. I'll be well happy with that. I think anything.
I'll take 9 looking at them.
Yeah,
pictures, to be honest.
if you looked at them and went, you win all your own games and lose all your away games, you'd say that. So if we can pinch more than that, yep, you might be right in the mix. In fact, that's the thing, is that gap's getting smaller, isn't it? So if we win Saturday and a couple more, I was looking at it and you think you've got yourself, we can try and get a 4 in front of our points tally now. Then you can start picking off the ones above us. At the moment, there's a little gap between us and I think it's Portsmouth. Yeah, point behind Oxford, but then the next jump is to 42 points. Yeah, so it's going to be a little while, but it's great to be looking that way. Right, let's now talk about Fleetwood, this Saturday's opponents. Have a look ahead to that game. I've not seen any team news for them yet. So in terms of new signing, we mentioned a couple of them last week, didn't we? Because they both scored on debut. I'm going to get his name right today because I called him Dave. Diaguraga, who central midfielder who come in from Plymouth, looks to have settled in really quickly. Paddy Manning, most people, if you follow League One, knows he's going to score goals at this level if he's played in the correct position. I did notice in the Football League paper he had a little dig at Graham Alexander for playing him out of position. So. And today, because Amari Bell left, because it looks like at the moment anyone who leaves to go to a side in League One has to join Blackburn or Wigan.
They're becoming like a Bayern Munich of the league, aren't they? If you're good enough in this league, you'll go to one of them.
That's one of them too. You're going to North Lancashire to live. So, yeah, they signed Amari Bell. He deserves it. I think he's been first class up there from all the reports I've read. He was really good when we had him on loan. For probably a shorter spell than we'd have liked. But yeah, good luck to Amari up there. But today they've signed, is it Kevin O'Connor from Preston on loan? So he looks like a straight replacement there. Don't know loads about him, but it makes sense. Obviously, Preston are Northern based and so are Fleetwood. So
what we do know is the video was hilarious.
It's weird.
Not sure if I like it or hate it.
So it's, I don't know if you've seen it, Gills fans, but it's obviously Kevin O'Connor. We find out at the end with his back to the screen. No, you just see his arms, and he's playing the National Lottery. And then they announce all the balls, and then number 3 comes out as the bonus ball, and suddenly he stands up, spins round, and says, "I think I've won again," in some horrible northern accent.
Not sure if it's great or atrocious. It's one or the other.
I suppose it's definitely it's a bit out there, isn't it? And fair play for them to make the effort, but I don't know. In terms of form, before we go off on a tangent. They have, in their last 6, they've gone lost 1-1, lost 1 loss, and 9 out of 18. That's in all. That's over. That's their last 6 league games. In terms of away fixtures, I had a look today. They've won their last 3 away. They've beaten Southend, Bury, and Oldham. So no disrespect to them teams, but they're all struggling. I think the highest placed team out of them is Southend, and they are.
And they're dropping
5th
like
bottom.
a stone.
And Oldham and Bury are both in a relegation zone. Before that, they'd lost 3 on the bounce on the road. So, and that was at Wigan, Walsall, and MK Dons. And I think they only scored twice in them 3 defeats, and that was both in the same game. They lost 4-2 at Walsall at the Bescott Stadium. So, yeah, a bit hit and miss at the moment. It doesn't seem to be that they're fond of drawing games. Team news for us, unfortunately, still no Scott Wagstaff. He is training but will not be risked. That is
You'd rather him be saved, wouldn't you?
For what? What are we saving him from? A life of poorly hamstrings?
And bring him back and he just pulls out again. No, make sure he's ready.
Yeah, we've got to now, because unfortunately it just seems to be happening again. It's like we've got Bradley Garmston back and now Scott Wagstaff's taken over the mantle of just permanently picking up niggles and muscle strains, unfortunately. Team news, not team news, team prediction. Doesn't change for me.
No, I think same team.
So we go Holy, Garmston, Amar, Zach Guarni, Luke O'Neill. The diamond would be Callum Riley, Jake Essenthaler, Mark Byrne, Lee Martin, Tom Eves and Josh Parker up front. Bench, I've gone for the same as last week. I've just had Frank Musa into that.
Yeah, take Oldacre out and Musa on.
I had Oldacre back in because obviously there's no Wagstaff. I can't remember. I think I took Ben Nugent off. So I went.
I don't see this sudden obsession having 3
defenders because Lacey can play both full backs.
Can play full back and centre back.
And Lacey can play anywhere across that back 4. So yeah, so I'd go with Stuart Nelson, Alex Lacey, Connor Ogilvie, Frank Musa, Darren Oldacre, Elliot Liston, Connor Wilkinson. That'd be my 7. And It's that time of the week. Score predictions. God, I've written mine down, so we'll do it again like we did last week. A bit of countdown.
2-1 to Jules.
Not again. 2-1 to the Jules. Just to say we're not phoning each other up, Jules fans. To go a little bit countdown. There you go. At the bottom of the screen, Matt 2-1, and Boz has just said 2-1. So
I've
fingers
got the goal
crossed.
scorers as well. I think Luke O'Neill.
Free kick.
I think possibly, and I think another Lee Martin. I called Lee Martin scoring at home last game. So.
Oh, go on then, we'll do goal scorers. I will go for Tom Eaves. In the rain,
at home, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he hasn't scored at home for a while, has he? I can't think of the last one at home. Well,
He's got the G1. He loves it there.
Tom Eaves in the Rainham end, because he hasn't scored at the Town end yet. Sorry, Brian Moore standing for all you kids. And I am going to go Jake Hessenthaler. Outside the box.
Yeah.
Literally, hopefully.
Yeah,
there we go. 2-1. So 2-2-1s. O'Neill, Martin, Eaves and Hess. Thanks for watching. We have just gone past 650 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you very much to everyone. Thank you very much to everyone who took part in the debate regarding my video yesterday about managerial transfer windows. That did cause a good chat amongst us all on Facebook and Twitter, which was brilliant. Not a lot of people agreed with me, which is fair enough.
Boring if everyone thought the same, though, isn't it?
Exactly. Instagram, we need just 2 more to get to 200, and I think we're about 20 away from 650 on Facebook. So there's me shamelessly begging again. We'll see you at the ground on Saturday for Matchday Live, and until then, up the Gills.